Welcome to The Lion's Den with Seth, a podcast where progressive men and women can learn and teach each other the ways of the land. The Lion's Den is where royalty comes to council. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Seth.
Yo, what's going on? This is another episode of The Lion's Den. I want to welcome y'all there. So I got a nice round amount of individuals that's here. I want to welcome everybody that's on Facebook, that's a part of the crew and everything. We're going to go around the circle and introduce our guests. My mans.
Hey, name Herman. Glad to be here.
Herman. All right on, man.
Shina, same.
Shay, where you from, Shina?
Milwaukee.
All right, and you from, okay, Milwaukee,
Okay.
ma'am.
What's good? Angel Love.
Okay, Angel Love. And back, we got my man's Will. What up, bro?
Man, Will in the building.
All right. Then we got some other folks in the back. They be in a minute. What's going on? Right? We got Nathan. Right? Then we got my man's Larry. How y'all feeling?
Good.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all?
All right. So everybody out there, as you can see, we have more people, so we had to kind of move in that little space, move out of it. So I want to thank y'all for getting it in. So first thing I want to say, not just thank y'all, but we're going to start off with being happy. The first thing I want to bring up is the Saturday Night Live. Did y'all see that? With Eddie Murphy? Are you serious?
I heard about it. His 10 kids was on there or something.
No, what?
Yeah, Chris
No.
Rock and all them.
Yeah, Chris Rock. Wait.
The Lizzo.
Yeah. Okay, that's another time. Okay. But yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we saw her. We saw that. But you saw it?
I did.
You didn't see it?
See it. I saw the pictures of it. So,
Yeah.
you know.
What was y'all doing? Sleep?
I was traveling,
Sleep.
bro.
Probably.
Oh, what's going on, y'all? Anybody out there that saw it, y'all chime in, okay? But
Anybody saw it?
Anybody saw it? Listen, it was great. That was Eddie Murphy's first time being back on Saturday Night Live. Since
Oh, I thought like 25 years or something.
25 years, yeah. Actually, more than that. It was like since '84 or something. So almost 30 years,
Oh,
right?
dang.
Right. And so it was so great. And then he actually brought out Chris Rock. He came out on the stage.
Tracy Morgan.
Dave Chappelle was on the stage, right?
Chappelle.
Tracy Morgan came out. It was nice. It was so epic, and it was funny.
I'm going to go check it out. I was on the road when it came out.
Man, that's horrible, man. You gotta check it out. But so, speaking of that, what do you think about being positive and dealing with negative individuals? What do you think about that?
That's a hard one. So me, I'm a glass half full type of person.
Mm-hmm.
So negative people like literally drains my energy.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious right now? So I take it upon myself to try to help them see the positive in any situation.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, dang, my dog just got ran over. I slammed my toe. I'm like, hey, but you had like 25 years with Fluffy, you know, you got like 9 other toes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a perspective. That's
you
a different
good.
perspective. Right. Shina, what you think?
I think it's all about your outlook on life. Negative people as well, they drain me. So I gotta shift away from those type of people.
Got to.
long handle spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. But I mean, if you wake up every day and you think about everything that's good going on in your life, you know, I think it'll change how your day goes. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. What you think, bro?
So, you know, I'm a person that always like to laugh and joke.
Yeah.
Clown all the time. But, like, negativity, it was something that caught up to me this year, you know, and I tried to disconnect from Facebook because I'm on Facebook for a while, and I like to do like laugh and joke and clown, and then I found out, hey, I'm the joke now. People started making me the joke.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't like that too much, and it was starting to bring me down, and I didn't realize what was happening for a while. I was like, why? What's wrong with my energy? What's wrong with my attitude? Then I realized, man, I turned myself into a character. You know what I mean? With like no respect at all, people were starting to clown. Let me disconnect for a while, reset. You know, I don't want to change who I am, but I don't want people to be confused on who I am either.
There you go. There you go. And a lot of that comes from knowing who you are.
Right.
So I was doing some research, right, on thepowerofpositivity.com. It's 4 types of individuals you need to stay away from. All right. One is the user. Think about that. Second is the gossiper. Third is the blamer.
That's big in air.
And the last one is the complainer.
Ooh.
Hit them where it hurts. Now, what do you think about that? What do you do when you deal with an individual that the only way they can communicate to you is if they're talking about other people,
Right.
without a solution?
Right.
Well, what we talk about? If you're talking and you're talking about problems but no solution, what's that?
Man.
You the problem.
That's called, in my logic, that's called bitching. You get what I'm saying? If you're not bringing a solution to it,
just complaining.
You just complaining. So what do y'all do when you're dealing with one of the four, or there's some individuals that encompass all four in one?
You know, I'm gonna bring that into something, deal with like military stuff.
Okay.
Right? When we start talking about strats, you know, people blame other reasons why they didn't get a strat.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? And that kind of stuff right there is so negative. It's
Yes.
like you're dealing with that every day. People talking about, well, that was the reason. This was the reason.
And it's contagious.
And they don't want to point to themselves and like, hey,
That's right.
what didn't you do?
That's right.
Yeah.
You know,
Or what could you have done better?
That's right. That's right. And holding yourself accountable. I'm so big on accountability. What you think, Shina?
I think as well, it may not be their time. So people have to just realize it might not be your time.
That's right.
You know. So, but as far as negative people, like I said, I avoid them. Or I mean, I switch the subject, but it depends on the environment. Like if I'm at work, you can't avoid those type of people. Like you gotta see them every day. So you switch up the conversation, or I go my own way.
Yeah.
I can't. It drains me.
It is. It is. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Dealing with individuals that drains your energy. And the most pessimistic individuals, the folks that think that the cup is, half empty. In my mind, get a new cup, a smaller cup, and fill that shit. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Just change your way, right? So, but avoiding those people. What about the user?
The user, the one that only hits you up when they need something.
Side note, family.
Right.
You know what I do with those type of people? When people they start off, they start telling you all their problems, and you're like, it's about to come. They about to ask you for
Let me
something.
hold
I tell them I'm gonna pray for them.
But you mess around like when it's
What you
family
gonna say?
or somebody you love, sometimes you don't even realize it's happening to you. You know what I mean? And you just giving out.
Yes.
And then you so far behind because you done gave everything away. You got a big heart. A user will take advantage.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
I think you have to realize you don't owe anybody anything.
Absolutely.
Like you get up, people outside of the military, they don't have to, deploy, leave your kids. They don't go through all of that. So it's like, yeah, I do for people, but you have to get to that point where you cut that off. Like,
Yes.
I don't owe you anything.
That's right.
You know,
You have
I
to have
get
a
up and work
boundary.
just like you can.
Yes, I will say that it's your responsibility to have your own emotional boundary, right? And as soon as a person get too close to it, your spider senses should go off to say, all right, chill out. Because what happens is sometimes we wait till we're already at 10 and now we getting in a case and they're looking at you like, I didn't know that was a problem because you've let this go on for so long. So if you set your own boundaries at like 3, like, okay, you know what? I done gave this person an inch. Now they're trying to take a mile. I need to cut them off because they're bleeding.
Right.
You get what I mean? Yeah, bro. Yeah. So what are other ways that you can combat negative individual? Wait, as a matter of fact, before we go into that, y'all check. Is anybody chiming in on your page? Hey, anybody that's on their Facebook Live, anybody, if y'all got any comments as far as combating negativity, how do you deal with that? What you got? Oh, you got something, Will? What you got?
I got 2. Coming from becoming better, deflection is real.
Yes.
That's alluding to what point everybody was making. You can't keep that climate. The next one coming from a man, Llewellyn, is explaining the blamer and user are the easiest to find come EPR season. Evaluation performance report for my non-military people. Got to make sure you make note of it and separate yourself from it.
Yes, absolutely. What you got, Mark?
I got, we love you, Hermy Herm.
What's about on the subject? Ain't nobody said that. Hey, Larry, you got something back there, bro?
They asked me what the questions is.
Okay, so just letting everybody know. And by the way, you guys can call in. The number is 618-792-6747. Y'all can be live, and we welcome this. We welcome this dialogue and this energy. The goal is to go into 2020 and my thought process with a different vision, right? So you can see clearly. But how do you do that if you don't change the way you're thinking, right? Because you're gonna turn another year older, hopefully. but don't do the same things that you've been doing the year prior to by changing your actions. You
Right.
know?
So first off, you have to realize that there's an issue with your actions. Because if you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm good, then you're going to continue doing the same thing. So we have a lot of friends who are enabling these individuals. They're not checking them.
Yes.
So they're going through and they're like, okay, well, you're the problem because this person didn't have a problem, that person didn't have a problem.
Right.
Well, if I have a problem, then it's an issue that we need to talk about.
Absolutely.
So that's the main thing, like just going in and knowing, okay, this is what I need to work on, and then, you know, establishing a plan, like how am I going to get to from step A to step B, and then basically like military terms. So what is it? Make sure that it is, I forget the term, I haven't studied in a while, y'all.
Attainable.
What's the acronym?
Smart.
Smart. Yes.
Smart.
Yes.
I think too, changing your environment, like being around people who gonna hold you accountable, like real people that you trust.
Now that's the key, and I'm glad, and I hate to cut you off. So with that, understanding that your circle, your true circle, is the ones that's going to have your six.
Right.
They have your back, and they're saying, hey, you're going down the wrong path, right? You're spiraling. So you have to be able to have the discernment to understand that they're coming at you from a place of love and not of hate. Because sometimes we confuse that information as, oh, he hating, he don't like the way I'm doing this. No, maybe you out of line.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Maybe you need to be checked.
Right.
But you have to trust your circle that's going to check you the right way, to put you back into your best self.
You gotta be coachable.
You have to be.
You gotta be
Oh,
coachable.
And you gotta be mentor ready.
Yep.
But what about everybody that say they're a mentor and they ready to mentor everybody, but not everybody needs your mentorship?
Right.
Okay, hold on. We got it.
I was about to say I have one too.
Okay, hold on. All right. So we have a caller in. Hello, who's calling?
How you doing? I'm calling from Miami, Florida. This is becoming better. I just chimed in.
Miami.
Oh, Miami, Florida. Okay, what's your name, brother?
Garthian Muhammad.
Okay, Garthy, what you got? Speak on it.
Well, I'm listening to you all ask the question, and I know Will. That's one of my students from class of 2000 Career Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, Will.
So I heard you all ask a question about negativity, negative people.
Yes.
That's an energy, right?
Yes.
You are whatever your experiences say you are, or you're the perception of said experiences.
Right.
So depending on how a person looks at their own experiences, right, what they learn from them dictates what they get. Some people, my mother used to say, you know, back in the day, hey, change your face or it's going to get stuck like that, right?
Yeah, that's true. Right. I can dig it.
Are already fixed because they cannot see beyond the scope of their own issues.
Yes.
And so they carry it around with them. It's that person that you say, hey, how you feeling today? And they're going to give you a laundry list of everything that's wrong because they can't see what's right.
That's right.
So there's a saying that goes, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, well, you're right in both cases.
Absolutely.
So it's about your perception, how you see it, that negative energy that you bring. And so how do we as people that are positive, keep that away? When a person brings that kind of information to us, one question you always want to know, especially if they bring information about other people, how do you know? They got, how do you know? Who told you that?
That's right. And you know what? And I would like to say, not just how do you know, why were they so comfortable telling you? You did what I'm saying? Oh, hold on, wait. That's number one. Watch this. That's number one. Number two, what did you say in my defense?
Hello.
You feel me? Hey, go ahead.
And, excuse me, hold on one second. Hey, John, come over here, man. We just got having a quick conversation.
He goes, hey, you better have John call on there. But go ahead. What John talking about?
So, you know, exactly. So now we can ask the question. Hey, what did you just say about John? What were you saying? See, now that clears it up. That clears up any of the negativity for that person.
That's right.
Now truth has to come out. So it's really about redeveloping your mind. You can't put new wine in old wine skin. You know, you really have to become better.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Hey, well, look, brother. Hey, we appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you for the input, man. Keep following us, man. We appreciate you.
All right, no problem. Hey, Will, have a good one, man.
Already, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's our responsibility, right? It's our responsibility to deal with that negativity, but in a smart manner. And is that information accurate to this point? Excuse me. Is that information accurate? Or are you just saying that for your own gain? Right? Have you guys ever dealt with that before?
People talking noise about somebody else?
That's right.
Yeah,
or about you. Or, excuse me.
Yeah.
Or an individual coming to you saying, hey, you know what they saying such and such and such and such about you.
So I'll give you an example when I made senior. Right? Okay. When I made senior, there was somebody running around saying, man, if Herman made senior, I know I can make it.
Oh, wow.
Because of that guy.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And how I handle it is like, man, he's absolutely right. He's 100% right. When he made senior, I'm putting that on my EPR. Because I motivated him to get that. There you go. I can't let people, like, if they're talking about me, I know who I am. You know what I mean? So I'm secure of who I am.
Yes.
You know, I did have that slip up where negativity was getting on me because I knew that was through actions of myself.
Yes.
I was making myself a joke. But if you have a problem with me, you know, you got an issue with me. I know that I never go out my way to be disrespectful. So your issue is just yours.
That's the thing. Your issue is yours and it's not mine. And I think sometimes what we do subconsciously, we put on other individuals' issues like it's ours. Right. Or they guilt us to having us think that it's ours.
Or have you trying to find out, how can I fix this?
Exactly.
Because I need to be liked. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You gotta stop that. You can't please everybody. Not everybody's gonna like you. Not everybody's gonna think you cute. You know, some people are blind. They can't see that I'm cute.
That's right. right. And I mean, it all depends. It's not what people think about you. It's what you think about you. Right. That's what matters. Because you know what? I saw a post. There was a picture of Madonna. Okay, she's standing on this balcony and she got this dude, one of her dancers, hugged up behind her. He's like 23 years old. Young boy. And yeah, young, right? A Thundercat. However, she's like 50 something years old. 61. And then 61. So somebody posted, they said, what do they see in her? I don't get it. I said, it's not what they see in her, it's what she see in her. Right. She still got some swagger.
Right.
And not just that, she still think it's like a virgin, and maybe they think so too, you know what I mean? So, but the case is, she's not letting what her outside appearance or society's thoughts putting her in a box stop her from getting her swag on.
Dictate her life.
You get what I'm saying? She's still getting her groove back. You know, but no, that's great. That's a very great topic. Anybody? Hey, so look, I want to make sure we shout out everybody that's over there. Miss Andy, who is that? That's Vincent.
Andy, Vincent, Nicole Edwards,
Diamond
Wilkins.
All right, look at Diamond.
See you.
What's up? What's up? All right. Y'all got anything? Anybody has anything to add on their post? Anybody say anything? Have any comments?
So I had one for my boy Will. He said, the user. He said, boy, at some point you have to let them crash and burn. Don't continue to help those that aren't willing to help themselves.
So that's an interesting topic. How do you guys feel about the boomerang kids? Now, we may not have children of that age that they're of age, they left and then they come back, and then they leave and come back, or now they're just up in your house. What do you think about that? Are you ready to separate the two? You get what I'm saying? Yes, this is your child. However, in my thought process, I gave you 18 years of everything I knew. It's up to you to take what I gave you or what we gave you to do the best that you can for your life. Now, I'm not going to let you crash and burn since you're my child. I'm going to let you hit your head so you can feel it. You get what I'm saying? But what are your thoughts about that and being caught up in a user relationship with your own relatives?
Well, relatives and my kids is two different things.
Okay, speak on it.
So if it's my kids and they're coming back, I'm gonna try to help them as much as I'm not gonna try to enable them to, hey, I can always be over here. It's got to be situational. Yes. You know what I'm saying? I give them all the tools, make sure they're good to go, but they're never not gonna be able to look back home and be like, I have no support there. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a tough one. It's got to be like case by case basis. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, those are your kids. So.
Yeah. Like I agree. I was watching, so I started the series Married at First Sight, right?
Okay.
So it was a 32-year-old man. So basically he had his own thing. The company he was working for maybe like 10 years, like they went under. So all of his savings, all of that, like it was gone. So in order to, get his life back together, he moved in with his parents. So that type of scenario, like that's okay. Like he moved in for his parents for a reason, for a particular time frame.
Okay.
So once he got himself back on his feet, like he moved out or whatever. So in that instance, I understand. But if you're like partying all of your money away and you getting the J's and like you gonna have your own car and you riding the bus, like that's something totally different. Like we need to talk. Like we need to work on something because I didn't do something right as a parent. So. Like he said, like it's based on scenario.
Situational.
Yeah.
I understand that. And you hit on something that's dear to my heart and in my mind, but we're not going to talk about it as far as the Jordans, okay? No, but yeah, listen, I'm tired, y'all. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Look, it's the Lions Den.
Jordan hit a lick on y'all.
Yeah, look, we gonna touch on it, okay? We gonna touch on it. Hey, being positive. We gonna keep it positive. Them shoes came out 1996 the first time.
Yes.
Recyclables.
Can you dig it?
Yes.
The first time. My thought process, the only individuals that's making money from that is A, Jordan, B, the stores, and the individuals that's actually invested in flipping it. But other than that, the individuals that's getting it just a floss to...
You better put some bleach on your own ones.
Okay.
So
I've
what
been
do
in
you
both
think?
of those scenarios, right? So
And
I've been that person who got the J's and I flipped them.
Okay.
So one of them was for me, 9 of them was to sell. So I kind of got my money back and buying them. But I'm the type person, I'm like, oh dang. In 96 when they first came out, I was on punishment. My mom wouldn't let me get them. So when they come out this time, I got them. And then you're like, oh dang, that was like 9 years ago. The must is busted now. I want them again. This time I was like, yo, Jordan is not getting 225 of my dollars.
That's right.
Not happening. So, and then mine on the shelf, they don't have a scratch on them. My 10-year-old, she eyeing them. She like, ooh. I'm like, get back.
Okay, so I get so your awareness changed,
Yes,
obviously,
my
right?
awareness
From 96 to 2019. But what do you think about the craze, though? So this is a scenario. I'm gonna let you know what happened.
Uh-oh.
I was at the mall.
Uh-oh.
You dig it? I'm at the mall, and then I just see a line, from Foot Locker, and I said out loud because I'm ignorant. I'm like, man, I guess they just giving out jobs today. I didn't know. You get what I'm saying? Because my mind wasn't wrapped around. I'm like, what the hell? That's what they doing? Okay, cool. It's they trying to get that holiday money. And sometimes like, man, you silly. And then I ain't think nothing of it. And so I went to Facebook. I'm like, is this it? These? I remember these in high school. Word to me, they was ugly then, they ugly now. But what do you guys think about the craze? Don't get me wrong. Everybody they can do whatever they want to do with their money. You get what I'm saying? But what do you think about that? Hold on, Shina, what you think?
I've never bought a pair of Jordans before
What?
in my
Shut
life.
your mouth.
I've never bought a pair.
You are not
Stay
an
strong.
African American. I'm sorry.
I've never bought a pair. I think it's your priorities. Like if you have the money,
Yes.
like you have a house, like you got gas in your car, everything's taken care of, then you good. You go out and spend that money. But if you don't have it together, you don't need to be spending money on
If you got a
Jordans.
bus pass, don't do it.
There you go. Your shoes, you don't even have a car.
Right.
So.
You can get a bucket for the amount of Jordans. I don't think anybody realized that. Now, and I can be judgmental. I'm sorry, maybe I'm judging the person, right? But I had Jordans a long time ago, like 97. But I had a car. You get what I'm saying? Priorities. And then I worked for them both, right? But when I see these young kids hurting each other, killing each other over these shoes, right? Being from Detroit, I saw a lot of this, and it was funny and that horrible. But now I'm in a position where I can use a platform to say, hey, maybe we should think a little bit different with our finances. And then how can you take that same shoe and have your money work for you? Think about it that way.
Man, it's a craze that they create with anything, especially now we got social media like Popeye's chicken.
Man,
sandwich,
don't
you know
do
what
it.
I'm
See,
saying?
that was another episode. We talked about that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's like you create a craze, you get a few influencers to make this seem like it's the most important thing that you gotta have it. And we're so easily influenced.
Yes.
I gotta have this by any means necessary.
And then you're out of touch if you don't have it.
Right.
You're not included
Right.
if you don't have it. You're stupid if you don't get these Jordans.
You
Or what?
broke, you
You
poor.
broke, you
Yep,
poor,
yep.
you're not in a certain class. And you ain't had that chicken yet? No, I ain't had a chicken yet.
I ain't had it yet.
But I'm saying what society is saying is you're not anything unless you have. And it's unfortunate that we subscribe to that thought, that narrative, because it's not true. It's false. And it's negative. What y'all think about it? You got some comments? What you got?
I just got one of my boys, AJ, said he owned 2 pairs of Jordans. When he played AAU, his coach gave him both pairs. He's never paid for Jordans.
See, there you go. Now you can't be mad at it again. So listen, we're going to close this on up with the negativity. Wait, we got anything else? You got something, Will?
I got one. This is coming from Diamond Wilkins. What's up, Diamond? She said, I feel it's important that children have to leave the nest and feel like returning home is not an option. I feel a lot of parents are enablers that their children never really figure it out on their own.
Yes.
Very valuable input.
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. So we're gonna close this
one
part.
Negativity.
Oh, you do? Oh, what you got?
Said Chief told me this is my girl Keisha. Chief told me don't waste your time explaining yourself to someone. It's the cause of the problems. Let your actions speak louder than words.
And that was that post. What was that post that we put on there?
Right.
As far as not telling everybody what you're doing, right? Because sometimes their negative vibes can knock you off your square.
Right.
And I know a lot about that. But we want to thank y'all for this part. We're going to come back here shortly. Again, stay positive. We're going to walk into 2020 with a bang. Right on? All right. And we'll be right back.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. The Lion's Den podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
And we're back. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, y'all got your num juice? Y'all straight? Everybody's good? Y'all charged up? Ladies and gentlemen, want to welcome y'all back. This is the top shelf topic. Grab your cup. Don't ask me what's in it. If y'all want to know, you got to pay me for it. Can you dig it? All right, but welcome back to the Lion's Den. This conversation is about interracial relationships and what that means. Okay? Now, before we start, I want to give you guys some information. So this is coming from the Sex and Balance website on Afropunk. So the issue is the stigma of what society places on different races, okay? And the examples of West Asian women, African American women and men, right? It relies greatly on the portrayal in forms of media that depicts some as sexual objects. For example, there's a thought that white women are viewed as trophies, symbols of strength and making it. All right, keep this in your mind. Next, Asian women are viewed as loyal, understanding, and subservient partners. Right? Next, Latino and Latin women are viewed as exotic. Black women and men are often hypersexualized and objectified as either Jezebels or Mandingos. So, yeah, right? But can you dig it? Right? Now, the thing is that's society's thought process. And some people feel that way. But I'm asking you, what do you think about interracial relationships? And now, again, if this is your first time logging in on the second half, I got my mans here, right? We got
Herman from Tennessee.
All right, and we got Will.
Yes, sir.
All right, we got my lady here.
Angel Love.
All right, and we got Nate.
Finally.
Also
from
10.
What up? All right. So I want you to kick it off because you are biracial, right? So you
can
are.
tell?
Yeah, I can tell. Because see, so you got the swagger, but you kind of cheeky. So explain to individuals your background and what you think about interracial relationships.
So yeah, I mean, I am biracial. My mother is Korean, my dad is black. So I came up with that whole stereotype. You know, I always got told you ain't black, you ain't Korean. Everybody's always trying to define who I am. Right? You know what I'm saying? They always want to place a definition of what I can claim. So when it comes to interracial relationships, I mean, obviously, I think it's a beautiful thing that you love who you love, right? The only problem that I have is when you start discriminating against people, saying I don't like black women because they're too rude or aggressive.
Generalizing.
Yeah, generalizing people. Or they think all Asian women are submissive. My mama beat my ass. You know what I mean? There was no submission in her at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I heard these things about Asian women being docile and stuff like that, and then my mom busting me upside the head, it didn't match up to
That's
me,
right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And I've met plenty of white girls with crazy ass attitudes. So none of that stuff holds any merit to me when we talk about the stereotypes that people have to fit in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So if that's your reason for not wanting to date another race, I feel like you're missing out on what could possibly be your soulmate. You know?
Then a beautiful thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ma'am, what you think?
So I'm gonna just leave it here. You love who you love. Like when I look at people, I don't see skin tone, I don't see color. Like if I think you're attractive, then I think you're attractive. Like I'm a sneakerhead, so I'm not gonna front. The first thing I look at is your shoes, and then I go up, and then I look at how you carry yourself, how you treat other people.
Yes.
And if all of that is in line, then I don't care how you look. Like you can be great. Like if you treat me well, and we have kids, or if I have kids that I'm bringing to the table, and you treat them well, then we good.
Okay. So it's about character. What you think, Will?
For an interracial relationship, it's based on your individuality, right? So it's about what you want. And sometimes people follow the flow of society, what they want to do, what looks good to the outside versus what looks good and feels good to them. So it's about saying, it's about me. It's about what I want, what makes me happy. And once you can kind of distinguish the two, then you find it a little bit more easier to kind of do what you need to do. If you look at someone that doesn't look like you and you're in a relationship with them, hey, do that. It does not matter what other people think about you and what your decisions may be.
Okay.
But it's about what you want. But can you be resilient when the world comes for you and judges you based on your own personal decisions?
Okay.
Can you
That
stand
part.
tall?
Okay, I can dig it. So now here, I'm about to grab this and tell me what you think. Let's say I'm dating a white woman, but any other race outside of African American. It's, first of all, if I'm interested in her, obviously I'm interested in her because I'm dating her, we need to have a conversation.
True.
First, I need to understand, what is it that you like about me, and what do you understand about my culture? Meaning, right? So first, I have to start that, and then I have to be that young lady has to be willing to give me what they know, because it just may be ignorance because of their own background and upbringing. So it's my responsibility to open up that dialogue. Then flip it. I got to be ready for what she's used to. Right? I have to be ready for, well, you know what? This is my first time dating, a chocolate man like yourself. However, this is what I'm used to. My background is saying all men, all brothers do this. And then she might say, well, do you really like chicken? Yeah, I like chicken. Okay, but I like chicken, but not everybody may like chicken. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be able to have that dialogue. So flip it. Hold this. But the second thing is, I need to trust you to have my back. Right. So when we do have those family outings, you whatever your family think about me, you're there to hold me down, say, hey, he's a part of me now. And I got to be one to do the same thing. Certain individuals won't bring that other person to the dinner table because they're worried about what their family is going to say. You feel me? What you got, bro?
We just had this conversation.
Did y'all? What you speak on it?
What conversation we had? Which one?
Thanksgiving. About the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Who made the potato salad?
Wait, who made the potato salad first? Wait, was it macaroni and cheese?
I didn't eat no potato salad.
Okay.
I was so uncomfortable in that house.
What happened?
So I was dating somebody I'm saying,
Okay.
we was together for like a year.
Okay.
And they was having a family get together.
Okay.
The only conversation that was brought in for me is me being mixed. You know what I'm saying? That was the only time I was brought into a conversation.
Wow.
So other than that, I was just some motherfucker, just some dude that was just there. You know what I mean? I was just a cat that was just sitting on the couch.
Right.
until they started talking about, hey, yeah, he's mixed.
Right. Did it just go off?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, battery died?
No, this should be good. But go ahead.
So,
speak on it.
so that was the only thing that they really included me in was, hey, he's mixed. he's light skinned, which full disclosure, I don't consider myself light skinned. I think I'm dark skinned. I don't know what everybody. It's the winter time right now, so. But that was the only time that I was brought in was to talk about me being mixed, and it made me uncomfortable because I didn't know these people. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, y'all want to joke about me being mixed, and that's the only thing I bring to the table, apparently. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was that. But what I did want to bring up with what Seth was talking about was why you wanted to date. You know what I mean? So I had a girl that dated me. Found out because she felt like I would give her kids nice hair.
Cute kids.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, now as you can see, I have no hair now. So you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that I would give them nice hair. So that was the reason why they wanted to date me, and their mama wanted me to have kids with her. I was like, wow, okay, that was crazy to me. I really, that was in high school too.
So mama putting in on the room.
Yeah, mama said, hey, yeah, I think y'all have pretty babies. I'm in the 10th grade. I'm like,
wait a minute. Was this down south?
Oh, of course.
Tennessee.
Hey, y'all gotta get up the south.
Ronnie, I am dark skinned. Anybody here with that?
Hey, that's interesting. But my question to you is, in that situation, how it made you uncomfortable, how did you react to that feeling? How did you react to the people that were making you feel uncomfortable in doing that situation?
Well, at the time I was confused because this is the person that I'm with. You know what I mean? Like I figured, like Seth was talking about having my back. She didn't have my back. It was like them, and then it was me. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, man, I can call y'all the fat ass clumps up in here. You know what I mean? Y'all looking like the clumps at the table, but I don't want to get there. You know what I mean? I didn't want to start clowning, you know what I'm saying? Because I was in a situation where I was kind of hurt. And I was like, the only way I'm going to respond is to cause y'all hurt. You know what I mean? Y'all
hurt people.
And I'm worse at that. So, you know,
I feel you.
The way I respond, I just laughed it off, chill, and pack my bags and down.
And so, Nate, what you think? Go ahead, speak into that mic right there.
No, I think, honestly, my opinion, I agree with everyone, right? It's amazing how society can place a title or a stigmatization on individuals and who they represent and what it is. First of all, when you can't help who you love, right? The thing is that you always have to remember is what are you comfortable with? What is it that you're actually looking for? What are you attracted to?
Yes.
Is it just beauty? Is it the mind? Is it the intellect? You know, it's those things that people look at for first. What is it that you value? Are you financially stable? You know, can you speak on an intellectual level when it comes to business? You know, things of that nature, or whatever. Absolutely. And what's your vision moving forward? So the one thing that I say is that, you know, society based. It's the value of your upbringing. Some people may frown upon interracial relationships, but as I stated before, you know, there has to be a communication with both parties involved. So as you go back to your scenario, what you brought up, do you have my back? And are you communicating to your family members that, hey, this is who I love and this is who I'm going to bring to the table? Do I have your full support? Because I'd be damned if I'm going to sit up there and bring another member who I love to a gathering and you're going to disrespect that member. And then in return, you know, that takes me out of the equation of what we may have as far as longevity may be concerned.
It's a setup.
So
it could
it's
be a setup.
Absolutely.
It could
definitely be a setup. And it's hard, man. Interracial relationships are hard because I have a friend or whatever, you know, that they're military or whatever, but when you get stationed at a location to where individuals are looking at you like, what are y'all doing together? Because people, you know, may have not have gone outside of their hometown, or, you know, their values may be, hey, Caucasian stick with Caucasian.
That's right.
You know, black sticks with black, or whatever the case may be. And I think we've surpassed that. And to be honest with you, we still have that in this country, you know. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that it's right, you know. But at the same time, it's who you are, what you enjoy, what you value, and what you plan on moving forward, and are you willing to accept the sacrifice?
Absolutely. But we're rapidly changing with that. I was just talking to my dad today about, he was born in the 40s. And for him, he said he would never thought he would see like a black man or white woman just walking around holding hands like it's all good.
Absolutely.
And they're still alive. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So we're changing as a society real quick. So some people still have not caught up to that, you know, this is okay.
Absolutely.
And another thing that it's okay to have a preference. You know what I mean? Like some people like, I just prefer this. I prefer that. As long as it's, to me, as long as it's not due to nothing negative, you know, people should be able to have a preference. Like black dudes say, I just prefer white girls. You know, people want to investigate, well, why? Why? Man just like white girls.
Absolutely.
You know?
Like Michael B. Jordan. So he had what was it on? He did a interview, and basically he was saying that black chicks in the past, like they used to dog him because he was nerdy. He liked playing video games. He liked doing this, like doing that. So he was accepted by white women. So that was the type of woman that he chose to date. Like, why would I date someone if they're gonna like dog me because of what I do, and they just want to be with me because of my money or how I look?
Okay.
So
that makes sense. Here, turn your mic. So I'm about to go. Okay, go. What you got, Will?
I got a comment from Miss Alexis Thomas. She speaks on the most important thing to me is not taking away from one race to justify your own preference.
There you go. There you go. So with that being said, to caveat on both, what do you guys think about Michael B. Jordan with his profession playing in Black Panther, right? But dating and his preference is Caucasian women. Don't you think, don't you think we are the most critical when it comes down to individuals? This is my perspective. We're the most critical when we see individuals that's depicting someone that's prominent, like the brother that played in Nat Turner, right? Or even Sidney Poitier, individuals of that stature. But after work, this is who they love.
Taye Diggs.
Right, Taye Diggs. Think about it. Now, what do you think about our society, or any society, or any group that put that much unnecessary pressure on that person, that male or female? Because this originated from the young lady that played in the Queen and Slim. Okay, y'all saw that?
Yes.
So some people liked the movie, some people didn't. However, the post on BET was stating that they snuck and got married. You get what I'm saying? Why did they didn't sneak? It just wasn't your damn business, in my opinion. Let's speak on that. What y'all think?
All right, so I'm gonna grab that one real quick. Stay in your lane, mind your own damn business. And they say if you don't have nothing good to say, keep your comments to yourself. Because a lot of time people are so critical of others because they have some insecurities themselves personally.
Absolutely.
Why can't I get someone that's like that? Maybe because you have that particular mentality. So sometimes it's about you kind of doing some internal soul searching to determine why you're so worried about what someone else is doing, and look at what's not going right within your own life. Why are you single?
That's
Why are you on your third husband?
That's right.
Why you out here lonely, just being that angry individual because you see somebody else out there happy? If they happy, let them be happy, regardless of what. Because last thing I looked at, when you get cut, you bleed red. Anybody in here bleed blue, orange, green? No, we're all human. So before you look at that color, look at the individual themselves, because that's what the other person's looking at. It's not about color. It's about who you love and how you feel.
Right.
That's right. And I do agree with that. Before you comment, hey, I want to make sure everybody knows the number is 618-792-6747. Call in if you can, if y'all want to. I see everybody on live. Hey, y'all come on in, call in. Y'all can jump on this, whatever. And what you got? You got a comment? Oh, what you got?
I got a couple too.
All right, cool. Speaking to it. Go ahead. Who got it? Go ahead. You got it, Herman.
I got Ronnie said it's hard when your family's not on the same page. She from the South, they wasn't having that. You can't explain to a baby boomer from the South why it's okay to date outside your race. Like we talked about, you know what I mean? Those people are still alive. You know what I'm saying? That dealt with, like, I mean, we deal with racism today.
Yeah, conservative views.
Not like back then, though. You know what I'm saying? So,
and to be honest with you, depending on what you have in the household, some people are rebellious. They want to step out because all they've been taught was negativity or whatever. So of course you're gonna sit up there and you're gonna reach out and branch out.
So I got a comment. First one's coming from Patrick Robinson. What's up, Pat? He said, my wife is German and black, and I still get the heat for that.
Oh yeah.
And in response to Black Panther, it's a fictional film. We as people put too much stock into useless energy.
Absolutely. So listen, hey, I got DJ Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, what's going on? Long time listener, first time caller.
That's what's up. Go ahead, speak up on it, brother. What you got?
No, I saw that you got the number for, speaking on interracial relationships.
Yes.
I was out of the house, so I haven't heard what you guys have said so far. but in my opinion, interracial relationships really shouldn't be that big of a deal. We all know we fall in love with who we fall in love with. In our culture, the black culture, if you grew up in the South, it was always looked at as taboo to date someone outside of your race because of, you know, what happened earlier in the 1900s and the segregation and things of that nature. But again, we can't help who we fall in love with, and it's so sad that social media has made it actually harder rather than easier for those types of relationships to exist.
You're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? Like people, it's kind of hard to explain, but like me myself, I'm in an interracial relationship. Like my wife is actually Cuban.
Okay.
Like her parents are from Cuba and Panama. So I'm also in a, you know, interracial relationship, but I've been in other relationships too where it was, you know, a white person or a lighter Hispanic person. I don't think there's any huge preference. I just think that people should be allowed to fall in love with and date whoever they want to date.
All right. Hey, I appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for calling, brother. Hey, stick around, man.
Yes,
we're gonna touch on that, man. I appreciate you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the number again is 618-792-6747. Again, 618-792-6747. Who was you about to speak on?
I got a question though. So we're talking about interracial relationships and successful black men, right?
Yes.
So and it's no secret that we see a lot of successful black men marry white women, right? So how are black women supposed to take that? Are they when they look at that? I know we talk about staying in your own lane and whatnot, but if that's like the going rate, you know, what is going on with that? You know what I mean? Like black women probably look at that like, man, why is it when you get on, like Kanye said,
you leave us, you leave us for a white woman, right?
Ask for a white girl,
right. You know, so in my opinion, I think it's almost a rebellion to your point, but also a lack of understanding of who you are, right? Because sometimes people, to this point here, some people feel as though it's a trophy, like I've arrived,
right.
I've made it, right? So if you already have that that thought process, that old mental process of, okay, well, I got my money, well, I might as well get a white chick. Oh, hold on. Okay, so we got a caller. Hey, how you doing? Who's calling?
Hey, man, this is Nick Jackson, man. Nathan twin, brother.
Hey, man, we was just talking about you. Hey, what's going on, brother? Welcome. Hey, so speak on it, Nick.
Hey, man, I would tell you, man, if you come out here, fast forward to today, if you come out here to Arizona, that's all you see is mixed couples. You know what I'm saying? It's an interracial thing out here, and they love it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't go anywhere without seeing a mixed couple. And let me flash back real quick. I go back to growing up, and Nathan can attest to this. You know, all you hear is, oh, man, you know, you ain't with your black queen, or, you know, you giving up on us. Like, why you got to jump to the other side? And I'm telling you, man, it's so played out. My wife, she's black, white, and Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, at the end of the day, I heard the other caller say, you go for what you love. And at the end of the day, if that's where your heart leads you, you know, you take that. By all means, no disrespect to my sisters, but I sit up here and say this, like, I love every color. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is too, if you're doing something that's feeding me and making me a better individual, because let's be real, some sisters don't do it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real. And there's some black guys that don't do it either.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? But if I got somebody that's complimenting me and making me better, I can't curse on the line, can I?
Man,
I don't give a damn.
Say what you said.
I don't give a damn what your color is. I need you to feel me. And if you feeling me, hey, we in this together.
All right, on. Hey, Nick, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for calling in, homie.
No problem, man. I wish y'all a Merry Christmas.
Hey, likewise.
I think I agree wholeheartedly with his statement. You know, what I tend to look at is that people tend to get profession confused with, you know, their personal ambitions. They want to take, because you were in Black Panther, that means that you have to marry, you know, someone of your skin tone. And, you know, as I take a look at, hey, I love my sisters, you know, I really do. But, you know, when I take a look at women who make, you know, these comments, it's like, you make these comments like the guy's supposed to come and find you. Like, we can't do that. Yeah. You know, it's just one of those things. Like my father told me, man, there's a lot of fish in the sea out there. That's you know, and the main thing is I want to be with someone who shows my best interest. That's going to be by my side, encourage me, mold me. Have my six, you know, when I'm, you know, just be there constantly. And like we all said before, you cannot help who you love, right? So if the connection is not there, then hey, you know, turn your Wi-Fi back on or whatever and get with someone else or whatever that's gonna believe in you, believe in your goals and your ambitions, and then continue to move forward.
Right, but swipe left. Yeah. So the thing is to make sure you are mentally and emotionally ready to take on that repercussion from your people.
Yep,
right?
That's what my girl Lillian said on here.
What she said?
So first off, she said, everyone should be able to love who they want to love, but I have noticed the cultural differences can cause disruption in a relationship.
Shina, I see you nodding your head. What you think? Come on up. You're still over here. Come on. You gotta get closer. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with what everyone's saying. I think for me, the only thing is the kids.
Oh, the kids.
The kids.
Oh, that's cool.
Teaching the kids both sides of their history. That's my only problem with interracial dating.
What you mean?
Making sure that you're teaching your kids, okay, you are black and you are white or whatever, you know, just making sure they understand both sides. That's my only thing. But I agree with what everyone's saying.
So I'm gonna get in your business a little bit now. I want you to explain, like, so you have your siblings, right? Tell us about your siblings.
So my sisters are Egyptian and black.
Oh, okay.
But growing up, you know, we always had our stepfather there, so they got a taste of both worlds. But if you ask them what they are, they're gonna say black. You know how they say you got a little bit of black in you, you're black. But I mean, they still were able to learn, you know, about Egyptian, the culture. Like we went to Egypt when we were younger. So that's what I'm saying. So that the world doesn't have to teach them what being black is or what being white is.
Or to teach them what to accept. Because to our point, I don't know if anyone touched on this, but when it comes down to the kids, if you don't have that conversation, those kids not only are going to be mixed biologically, but mixed mentally. Right? So they don't know which lane to actually walk on or to feel comfortable. Because let's say you are mixed race, black and white, but you look more white, but you're socially and society wise, right? Economically, you're black. And what does that look like? Your income, your household, right? And the things that you listen to, your music, your TV, your culture, your swag. How do you find your identity? You get what I mean?
So, it sounds like an episode of Mixes.
So,
go ahead.
So for me, I mean, I grew up black. I mean, my mama raised me Korean. I grew up eating Korean food, but all of my friends were black because that's what I look like. You know what I'm saying? So here's the crazy way how I identify. Well, when I was a kid, my mom and dad divorced. I was on an army base.
Okay.
It was a lot of diversity, a bunch of mixed people.
Yeah.
I moved to Kentucky where it wasn't any.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was me, mixed. The only one that was mixed inside that trailer park. First day of school, jumped by a whole bunch of white kids.
Really?
Called the N-word. I didn't even know what the N-word was at the time. And the black kids took me in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you want like a cell block or something?
Right. Come over here with us.
So I guess I figured out then what was what. You know what I mean? So when you talk about history and stuff like that, I mean, I grew up just like a normal kid. You know what I mean? I grew up with all my black friends. You know, I grew up eating Korean food with my Korean mother. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm outside the door, I'm with all my black friends. So I guess that's kind of how I balance it. I don't identify, when people ask me if I'm black or anything, I tell them I'm black and Korean. Because I will never disrespect my mom raising me. And that's a half of my culture. But I do identify as a black person. You know what I mean? I'm black, Korean, I'm both, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it.
So, all right, that's an interesting point. What do you guys think about the one drop rule?
What do you think about Tiger Woods and what he said he was?
What did Tiger Woods say?
I understood what he said.
What did he say? Hey, come on up to the mic. What did he say?
I'm black Blasian.
So, but let me explain that though, right? So we get mad at Tiger Woods for saying that, right?
I respect it.
But check this out. it's like mixed people only accept it when they accomplish something. You know what I'm saying? Like when Naomi Osaka accomplished winning a tennis match. She's the black girl. Man, they never called my sister that. You know what I'm saying? When we was growing up. She was the mixed kid, the Chinese girl. You know what I'm saying? But when you accomplish something, now you black. Obama, he black. But he's actually mixed. You know what I'm saying? So what Tiger Woods was doing was he was identifying, I got a whole other color. My mother is Thai. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to exclude that to just say I'm all black.
Right.
But don't get it confused. He's still black.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
So we got a caller. Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Hey guys, my name's Greg. I want to be with a large black man. For some reason I fantasize about a big black cock sliding up in me.
All right. I don't know what the hell was that. Yeah, I don't know. It was a troll. It was a troll. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, hey, if y'all didn't hear that, that was an individual. So apparently you're doing something right when you're getting trolled, right? And that was extremely random, but I'll make sure we edit that out. But the conversation was the love, interracial relationship, and what love actually looks like, and how do you walk this line that we call life, dealing in this climate. So we have a conservative thought process and administration that thinks certain things should not be mixed, but that's not reality. It's not reality. So do you have any comments?
Yeah. My man.
Go ahead, Spence. Go ahead.
So the comment, what's going on here? It's hard to say this, but when things get tough, white women will bail. They don't know how to handle tough times. That's coming from a Caucasian woman, and I guess it's based on her own experience, but great perspective to share, because sometimes they don't know how to handle. Sometimes we don't know how to handle certain things.
That's our job.
It's a reality.
You get what I'm saying? Right? It's our job to. Woo, Lord. Go ahead. What you got?
So my man Tate said it's a great topic. It's one of him and his wife have regarding their daughters. It said their stance is to accept their decision and support whatever and not direct them.
Yes.
So, their daughters date black guys wherever they want to, because our kids are getting to that dating age.
That's right. And we have to arm them.
Right. Another one of my friends talked about, his mama said, if she can't use your phone,
brush,
don't bring her home.
What you say? If you can't what?
You can't use your phone, don't bring her home.
Yeah.
That's a down south. That is a southern thing.
Old school saying right
So
there.
If she can't use your comb, don't bring her home.
So he's from Arkansas, right?
Okay,
And so the thing is, being from the South, his mama saying that was more in line to protect him. You know what I mean? Like in her day, man, anything happen, all she has to say is one thing, and you locked up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So go ahead and think about society, right? You guys remember what happened with Kobe Bryant, the rape, Denver, so on and so forth. It's a stigma where you see black men get in trouble because of the signs of a white woman they may or may not be messing with accuses them of rape. You're pretty much guilty.
But wait, with that being said, it's not stigma, that's history. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember, but with Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the Black Wall Street, that's how it started. That's the excuse. That was the fall. Yeah. So it's not a stigma. That's history, right? And so my family told me. So I was just going to hit up. So Emmett Till is my cousin, right? It was my cousin, but there were certain things that my family didn't tell me about when I was younger because they didn't want me to have a disdain for the other race. Society already did that for me, but I had to understand it does not matter what you do. You can do everything right. It's the fact that it's you doing it. You get what I'm saying? We hold a certain swagger that comes off to other individuals as cocky, comes off as threatening, or whatever the case it is, and also certain individuals don't like that, so they want to tear it down. The quickest way to tear it down is for them to give a perception that you did something illegal. And the main thing is attacking their women. That's history. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't a stick. So anybody is subject to that. That's why, in my opinion, that conversation is very crucial. I'm talking to my young friend, my young lady friend, Caucasian friend, or anybody that can pass the paper bag test. Y'all heard about that, right? But lighter then, we need to have this conversation. If something happens between us, it's between us. My goal is not to hurt you. Hopefully your goal is not to hurt me. But the thing is, the law is not on my side. Period.
What do you think about as it relates to parenting? Because we all came up with it in a different time. We were taught something totally different.
Yes.
So as time progressed, kids are more used to seeing interracial relationships, gay relationships, where it's more normalized, where it's not such a threatening thing as it was when we were coming up, where we're looking down on it. It's more normal for them. So that education piece that you alluded to earlier is key, because they're going to go through things based on teaching of that household, teaching of their surroundings, their environment, and they're going to bring on those same habits to kids that may be totally oblivious to that was the norm back in the day, because parents dictate almost what their kids, how they see the world.
No, they do.
So
initially,
your kid has to experience things for themselves to understand it. But if we're not doing our jobs as parents, then they're going to be lost. So it's important to educate on both the Asian side, the black side, the white side. History has to. You have to know that.
You have to,
because you have to know where you stand in this world.
Right.
And if anyone's out there listening, if you think it's not something out there because you're black, that the world is not looking at you the same. They criminalize us on a regular basis on social media, the television, the way they utilize the color black, so on and so forth. So that's something that's known across the book. We have to teach kids what that means, because you walk in the room, don't put your head down. You have to be proud of who you are, regardless of how many times they show your uncle going to jail, this on the news, because it's all negative. You have to realize it's good to us. You got to be proud of that.
So with that being said, and I want you guys to chime in, not only is it our responsibility, but we have to teach our future how to think strategically. Because yes, you can go into the room, don't keep your head down, but you know what? It's a reason why you need to be vigilant and understand how you play within this game. First of all, know where you are on the board first. Then know how to play it. Because no, it's nothing good about an individual that's going to dim down themselves just so they don't bring attention to themselves. But you bring it when it's time. Boom. You get what I'm saying? It starts at the crib. So I have to make sure, we have to make sure our daughter knows exactly what's going on. For some reason, she's a beautiful young lady. Long hair and all this other stuff. But she's 8. Only thing she understands is love. So we have to make sure she understands hate too, and how it can come. But it's not just us. I need to make sure that the individuals that I surround myself with, they can tell her in different ways. You get what I'm saying? Because you being young lady, you may be able to tell my daughter something that I can't, and that her mother can't, but you've dealt with something different. Say, hey baby, you might want to look at this. So now it goes from the house to a community.
The village.
You feel me? Damn. But can you dig it though?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It's truly about that, holding yourself accountable and being that change that you want to see. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it's 618-792-6747 if y'all want to chime in. We got like 5 more minutes. Y'all got any comments?
I got a chime.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, so you spoke on our princesses, right? So what about our little princesses? My friend Gentry, she said black masculinity is a threat to white supremacy.
And it is.
Yeah,
it
so
is.
how are we like bringing them up, letting them know that, and preparing them for that?
So, in my opinion, I'll let you guys speak on this. In my opinion, it's about glorifying it. Society, based off of money, is going to glorify the negativity. Right? You got the rappers, you got they sagging, they demonizing women and all this other stuff. It's our responsibility to be the example. This is how you carry yourself. And this is the type of man that's going to treat you a certain way, but I have to be able to treat her that way first. You feel me? What you think? Will, what you think?
It's about being that consistent example on a day-to-day basis, but it's about exposure.
Yeah.
When you're exposed to more, you kind of have something to compare and contrast, because if you're only one-dimensional, you don't know any better.
That's right.
So when it comes to how to be treated, you may have a certain way that you treat your daughter, and she responds to it. That's the standard daddy's giving her. Society may not have that same concept. So surrounding yourself with great brothers and sisters like we have in this room here is going to put together that village that you need to kind of show this is the standard that we go by, and then it becomes their foundation. Because you don't have a foundation, you don't have anything, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay, last point. What you got?
So with that comment right there, I think that it inspires spirit. You know what I mean? And that we got to kind of get away from keep keep thinking with that same line of thought, like black masculinity is a threat to white supremacy. We use those trigger words and stuff like that, and it automatically puts us in a victimhood mentality, in my opinion.
Okay.
I think that we just need to live by example and show, hey, you know, there's no out there. I mean, there's always going to be racism and obstacles in your way, but don't put that in the forefront of their mind, like the white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? Just live by example, show hey, you can accomplish anything in this country. You know what I'm saying?
And I believe it. I believe they need to know, but it's something that they shouldn't be afraid of. You know what I'm saying? Hey, read that comment from Ms. Angie. What she say?
So I think we are still taught mostly the same. You see, you got me reading. We still taught mostly the same, despite how society has changed, because the consequences and suffering are the same for black men. Mothers still teach their sons to watch out for the police, lying white girl, being in big groups of other black people, etc.
That's the talk.
Yeah, that makes sense. So last point, what you got, Will?
So remember that talk that we had before you go out, your mom and your daddy gave it to you, where they say, although you're not doing anything, doesn't mean people won't think you're doing something.
That's right.
So they teach you how to move, as you say, strategically.
Absolutely.
Where you watch who you're surrounded by. Yes. You have to speak a certain way. You can't really be your normal self because people perceive you as a threat. And if you say that things are not factual as it relates to us being a threat, watch the news.
That's right.
People are dying more consistently. This is statistically proven that black men are considered threats before they're considered anybody else, almost less than human. Remember that 3/5 of a man? That concept is relevant today because you're not met with the same amount of aggression as other races as it involves certain situations because of the color of your skin.
That's right.
So that is very true.
That's right.
Remember we had that conversation in superintendent's course, right?
Oh, most definitely.
So you said basically with you being like a larger black male, you have to use soft hands and you have to do certain things.
Correct.
Yeah. So you want to touch on that? Let them know.
So for me, I'm not a small guy, right? So I had to change how I approach people because people took me as a threat. Although I'm very civilized, I'm very respectful, I'm humble, but people could not handle me telling them the truth, being very direct. So what they end up doing is going to my leadership saying that I'm intimidating them, I'm threatening. So I had to learn how to sit down, have soft hand gestures, have to kind of cater to you versus just being myself and being transparent and honest with you because of who I am. But I can watch other people that don't look like me do the same thing I did, but they're not perceived as I am. That was a lesson in learning how to move strategically and knowing my environment and my place in this environment.
So what I would say too, because I'm gonna get to you, Nate, what I would say as far as being transparent, everything has to be done calculated. You can still give an individual the truth, but you're going to give it to them in sips. You get what I'm saying? You will never give a baby a steak.
True that.
They won't be able to digest it, can't chew it. All right, I'm still going to give you this ether, but I'm giving it to you in little doses. And then not just that, I'm going to give it to you by you watching me. You see? Because sometimes you don't have to say nothing. You just, all right, I feel you. You're right. Boom. You get what I'm saying? They're going to feel that actions. They don't have to hear your words. They're going to see your actions, and that will prove more powerful than your stature.
Walking
you feel me?
on the brother.
There you go. So go ahead, speak on it, man.
No, I think I truly believe Will brought up a great point, and that point is that I don't just look at it from a color standpoint. It's more to it than just that.
Yes.
It's your competence, it's your confidence, it's your ability to strategically think by playing chess, not checkers, being able to think 3 to 5 moves ahead. And you're absolutely right. It's just one of those things that as a young African American, when you walk into a room, people just automatically just gaze their eyes at you. I'm not who you think that I am. True. Okay, because I live by 5 core values. 1, haircut, dress, and appearance, because I'm a representation of you, you're a representation of me, okay? Be bold within your approach, okay? Know what your mission and vision is, and as you continue this journey, smile. Those things are vitally important, and when you have the ability to place those vital concepts within the application, that right there in itself proposes you as a threat moving forward. Right. And there's one post that I shared on Facebook where it says you have to evolve yourself around a team, equip yourself with the team that no one knows who the leader is within that atmosphere, because that is so important. And I am different. You know, yes, I am a product of the public school system. Yes, I am a product of, all these things, but that's not who I am. And who I am, one of the key things that we're missing is we talk about time. Mentorship is key. You made it. 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 Where are we at by giving our time back to these communities to let them know that it's bigger than sports?
Right.
It's bigger than being an athlete. I need you to understand that you need to maintain your focus. First, find your identity. Who are you? Don't allow your current situation to dictate your future moving forward. People need to understand that, okay? Tough times don't last, but a weak mind does. Okay, so if you could just change your mind and just understand that this too shall pass, you're gonna be fine.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when people, approach me, I'm one of those individuals. I'll speak to someone and they be like, "Dang, I wasn't expecting that to come from you or whatever." I want you to understand that I need to bring you up, right? Because I know that there is transformational leaders that want to make a difference, and sometimes they just don't know how. But when they take a look at representatives such as yourselves, they know that you give them that positivity outlook moving forward. And that's all I got to say.
Right on. Appreciate it. Shina, you got anything to add before you go? Okay. What about you, Larry?
No, I just got 2 comments.
All right, go ahead.
People posted. One is from Christina Calhoun. She was in an interracial relationship, got an interracial child, right? So she says, identity, I believe, for mixed race children is largely based on how they are raised and who they are around. My son is 8 and has decided to tell people he is black if he's asked. That wasn't urged by me. That's what he felt confronted, comfortable calling himself. And then my wife, she comes from a huge interracial family from Kansas, because it's Kansas, right? I do not mind interracial relationships as long as both parties embrace both cultures. Educating your partner is imperative so that they learn what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Look at Jesse Williams. His parents instilled as much information in him as they could, which made him well informed.
Absolutely. Well, listen, everybody, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to go around and make sure everybody can let everybody know where they can find you. If you want to be, want to let people know where they can find you on social media, where they can find you, brother.
You can find me on Instagram, Herman Brown, #3. And I thank everybody for listening.
All right. What you got, Will?
Hey, man, Will, man. 8,000 Ways on IG. Will Spencer on Facebook. Holla at me, mentorship all day, one-on-one.
Okay. And then we got a young lady here. She's also an author. Go ahead and speak on here. I want you to get in the mic so they can know how to get to you. Go ahead.
All right. What's going on, people? Angel Love, representing Where Did Daddy Go, dropping January. 2020 vision. Go get that. Just instilling in single parents, even though you're a single parent right now, that doesn't mean that you can't be what you need to be for your family. So right now we talked about community. So it's not just you. Have a circle around you that can help you get to where you need to go. Shout out to my circle who held me down while I was a single parent, and now I'm on the other side of that. So just stick to the
Where can they find you at?
You can find me on Facebook under Angel Love. You can find me under Instagram, just Ange.
All right, right on. Miss Shina? Yeah, you better come on the field.
I don't have the whole Instagram and everything, but you can find me Shina Williamson on Facebook.
Okay. Larry.
Yeah, you can find me, Larry. I'll catch him on Facebook.
MySpace.
It's simple. If you're on my Facebook Live, you already know where I'm at because you're on my live, right?
Right on. And Nate?
You can find me simple on Facebook. I don't do all that other stuff with Nick Jackson, so not to be confused with Nick Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
I did confuse you last
right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Seth. You know where you can find me at, right? SethTheSpeaker.com, and make sure you go get the book, The Black Collar Mindset. Move strategically and change your life. Thank y'all for listening, and we will see y'all next week.
See ya.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Make sure to listen to the show on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, and Radio Public, where you can subscribe, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you like or dislike this episode, we'd appreciate your feedback on Facebook at www.facebook.com/LionsCast. Check out the book, The Black Collar Mindset, The Art of Strategic Thinking, on Amazon, or www.theblackcollarmindset.com. a manual to maneuver through life strategically by holding yourself accountable. Tune in next week for another episode of The Lion's Den with Seth.